Gig Gab, episode 482 for Monday, May 19th, National Devil's Food Cake Day 2025. I know.
Who
It's a
knows?
delicious day. I know. The things we've already learned. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Gig Gab, the show by, for, and about working musicians here in Durham, New Hampshire on National Devil's Food Cake Day. I'm Dave Hamilton, and my guest co-host today knows the gig life from both sides of the stage. He spent years as a working actor and a talent agent before co-founding GigSalad's. That's right, the platform that connects event planners and entertainers and all of those things across North America, with over 110,000 performers on the platform. And if I have my math right, more than 113 million in bookings to date. GigSalad's has become a powerhouse in the live entertainment economy. And their mission is simple: empower artists to find more and better gigs. We love that. So, Mark Steiner, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you, Dave. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you here. So, I'm obviously very aware of GigSalad's. I think I was in a band for a while that used it for the wedding booking side of things.
Right.
But you are the what I will call sort of one of the classic archetypes of a tech founder. You solved a problem for yourself and rolled it out to the masses. Do I have your history right on that?
That is exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You started as an actor?
Yeah. We'll go back to when I first started a career right out of high school. No college. Summer college, right after high school. Took some acting classes to kill time and to start to hone the craft.
Yep.
And I auditioned for a national children's theater troupe, was touring around the country. It was called the Robin Hood Players. I got a part, and off I went.
Amazing.
Phoenix, Arizona. We worked on the play. It was called Old Hickory. It was about Andrew Jackson.
Yeah.
And it was, children educational sort of play. We played K through 12 schools. So after we worked
That's the children's version of Bloody Bloody Andrew Jackson, right?
Pretty much. we covered a lot of ground with it. But we went off. It was two guys in a small pickup truck, and we just dispersed from Arizona to various parts of the U.S. And I was on the road for about 3 or 4 months and playing sometimes 3 shows a day, sometimes in 3 different schools. And when that was over, I moved to New York City to try to get my lucky break. And I got one, more on the production side, working as a PA. And after many films and many different departments, I found my way to running a craft service company. I had a culinary background, and I became a Craftee. They call it now. I've seen this. The vernacular's changed slightly, and then I got a lucky break and got a part because the director knew I really wanted to be an actor, so she threw me a line. Classic, the Catch-22, that gave me my SAG card, and from that point on, I bounced back and forth by running my craft service company and occasionally lots of extra work and background work. I want to be very clear here.
Sure.
I occasionally I did some stand-in work on various films, and a commercial here and there, but it was
you were grinding it out.
I was grinding. I was doing my best.
And we talk about how this show is for by, for, and about working musicians. That doesn't just mean the people on the stage, right? And it doesn't just mean the stars whose names we all know. It's about the people grinding it out, either to be on the stage or to do all the things that make that happen. And and so in the acting world, it's the same thing. There's the handful of names, and then there's all the rest.
That's right.
Yeah,
that is right. What I found by making that choice, had I moved to New York and said, I'm not just going for the first lucky break that I get that gets me in proximity of what I thought I wanted to do, but if had I said, that's nice, but I really want to be an actor, so I'm going to go to acting class and I'm going to audition and I'm going to try and find representation, it could have been a different story. But what I know now is that being close to it was enough, and it possibly was it was enough that kept me from possibly going and failing, is what I know now. And so 40 some years later, I'm trying to be an actor again. So
all right, there you go.
I'm dipping my toe back in.
That's awesome. And that's fantastic. There's the notable sort of maxim where or story where the parable perhaps is the right way to say it, where the young musician, the young actor, right, says to the more experienced musician or actor, hey, I'm starting out in this business. What advice do you have for me? And the one piece of that advice is, if you can imagine yourself doing anything else, do that. But if you can't, then join this journey.
And that's brilliant advice, and I wish I had heard. Where were you, Dave, 40 years ago?
Well, I was much younger then.
Yeah, both of us. Both of us.
I did not have that advice to share back then, you see.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to your part, I mean, you're a musician, and I
am.
And you're playing, and you're doing your art, you're doing your craft, and I commend you for it. And as far as I can tell, this has been a part of your life, your entire life, right?
Yeah, it's been the thing that's been, I mean, certainly, since I was 14 or something. Yeah, it was when I first picked up drumsticks, and piano lessons started 4 or 5 years before that. So yeah. It has been a part of my life, and for very brief stints, or stint maybe is the right way to say it. It was what I did full time, and loved that, the touring, all of it, amazing. I'm so glad I got to check that box, and that taught me that I want to be able to see my kids grow up and all of those things, and and being home for that. And so carving out, the path that I did is exactly why I did what I did. Yeah. So
in hindsight, you look at you look at where we're at now, and it all makes sense. I couldn't imagine it any other way. However,
there's a Steve Jobs quote there that the dots are easy to connect looking backwards. So
brilliant, Steve.
Yeah. You were saying when I interrupted you with a Steve Jobs quote? Or no?
No. Well, just that the flame is still there. It's still,
that's awesome.
It's gone from a flicker that's always been kept alive to I'm now at a stage in my life where I have a little more freedom, a little more independence. I still run, I'm still running a company.
Yep.
But I'm an empty nester, and as I said, I'm dipping my toe back in and starting to look for the opportunities,
That's great.
To do that thing again. And that goes along with music. I was also a drummer, a very mediocre to moderate drummer in my very young age. But when I finished high school and moved to New York, I didn't bring my drum kit with me. And so that was the end of that. But I've recently gotten inspired again, and I practice every day.
Amazing. You're practicing drums more than I am. I am afraid to admit, but I am ashamed to admit, in fact. So
I have catching up to do. I'm just doing basic, rudiments, and it just, if nothing else, it makes me feel really good. I feel very calm and very patient. It's actually a form of meditation for me.
It is for me too. And the days that I don't play, I I don't feel as good as the days that I do. I can get away to a degree. I can get away with taking days off and still being able to play at the level that I need to play for the gigs that I do and all of that stuff. But it's not the level I want to play. Like if I play every day, my dexterity, the little things are so much better than if I have taken a week off of playing between gigs, because I've traveled or whatever. Like I notice it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just in my ability to deliver the, like you said, the meditative part of it, that just pays immediate benefits. So
Yes.
Yeah. It's practicing is a good thing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So you created Gig Salad. You've done over $100 million in business with this business. Where did that? I mean, I think we can sort of the implied path is perhaps obvious, but perhaps not. How did Gig Salad, like, what was it that made you decide, I can do this tech thing and create this and all of that? Where did that come from?
Yeah, it was the happy accident.
Love it.
After I worked in the movie business, 1984 to 1994, and I'd gotten married in 1991, and my wife and I had an opportunity to move to Connecticut. My wife went to Manhattan School of Music, and she, as a concert violinist, and she thought she might take the path of pedagogy and had an opportunity to teach in a Suzuki school that was just outside of New Haven.
Yep.
And so we took the opportunity. We had been in New York for a while, and I thought I'm going to try something else. And I had a sort of a divergent other entrepreneurial thing that I was into. I was working on a teddy bear, a colorful teddy bear called Rainbow Friends, and it was to teach kids to love all the colors and not be racist.
Okay,
so
sure, yeah.
But my wife got this job, and there we were in Connecticut, and then, as often as startups can go, or first jabs at doing your own thing, I did it all on credit cards and found myself needing to get a real job.
Yep.
And I had a friend in New York City who worked for a small boutique agency called Phoenix Talent Agency that was owned and operated by the same two guys that ran the Glenn Miller Orchestra.
Oh.
And so he thought I would be a good agent, booking agent. And he hired me, and I started commuting back to New York from Milford, Connecticut.
Okay.
And off I went. It turned out I was a pretty good booking agent. I enjoyed it very much. I like to be social. I'm fairly gregarious, and I was extroverted then. I think I'm less now, but who knows? And I went and sold, and I sold like the Dickens, and had a great time. And it was really, it was primarily booking for the Glenn Miller Orchestra, but there was a lot of other big bands, ghost bands as they were, because those leaders had been dead and gone for a long time at that point. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a great deal. I worked for that agency for 7 years until 2001, and I left and went and worked for a friend of mine, a very prolific and famous architect in New York City named Rick Cook, and I went and worked for him for about 3 months. I was supposed to be the office manager, and they wanted me to work with the books as well. And
Sure.
It just not what I was meant to do, and so I left, and I missed the business. I missed being a booking agent, and I started my own booking agency called Steiner Talent. And it was not long after, within a year or so, I had a friend design a website for me. And no sooner was steinertalent.com up, and I started getting inundated by calls and emails from entertainers and performers that were, starting to search a little bit. It wasn't the infancy of the internet.
Sure.
But, I started getting emails and phone calls from as I said, clowns and wedding bands and musicians and you name it that were looking for representation, looking for gigs, on and on. And at the same time, I was getting contacted by event planners. So moms looking for clowns and wedding planners or brides looking for wedding bands and on and on. And I tried to be of service to all those people, even though that was not within the business model that I was in. I was booking $5,000 acts and higher, and sometimes much higher, more, national touring acts and more celebrities and headliners and that sort of thing. And I wasn't doing local regional bookings. However, and this is the happy accident, is I thought, but there's probably an opportunity here, and I need to get this fixed because I'm inclined to answer every call and try.
Because you're an entrepreneur, you can't not answer the phone. Yes,
and I'm also, and I'm an artist. I consider myself an artist or a creative first and foremost. So to give advice, and as I said, my ex-wife, she was a working violinist herself, also doing wedding gigs.
Yep.
But I went to my friend who had designed my website and said, let's figure this out. Let's create a directory is really what it was supposed to be originally. And hopefully these same people will find that directory and the two will be in contact and they can go off and do their thing. And I can continue running Steiner Talent.
And then I can stop fielding all these darn phone calls.
Right. I can try to get back to making a living. And
interesting. I love that.
Yeah.
So what year was Gig Salad formed?
Gig Salad, the official launch was 2007.
Okay.
However, we had a beta version up as early as, excuse me, 2004. It might have even been late 2003.
Okay.
But I know it was at least 2004 because we had something up, and then I moved that year, 2004, July of 2004. I moved from Connecticut to Springfield, Missouri, where my ex was from, and we decided to raise our family in the Midwest.
Amazing.
I could do what I did from anywhere at that point. I could be a booking agent anywhere. Allison was teaching. She got a job in the school system here in Springfield, and we made the move.
I know this story as an entrepreneur that has been publishing things on the internet for a long time. You left Connecticut in 2004. I left for the second time in 2005. So
Connecticut.
Yeah, I grew up in Norwalk.
I thought I saw that.
Yeah, and then we left in 95 and moved down to Austin, and that's where I started.
Oh.
That's where I started Mac Observer and Backbeat Media and all of that, kind of the first phase of things, which much of it is still going on. Actually, all of it's still going on. We just sold Mac Observer, so I don't have that.
Congratulations!
Anymore. Thanks. I say we just sold it. It was like 3 years ago or something. But yeah, thank you.
Still.
Yeah. No, it's good. And then we moved back to Connecticut in 2000 after we had our first child, and to have her be closer to family and that sort of thing. And
yes.
And then in 2005, we bounced further north here to New Hampshire, and we've been here for that stretch. So yeah.
Nice. Well, when we moved to Connecticut, we were in Milford for a period of time. It was close to New Haven, and then we bought and flipped houses starting in Black Rock section of Bridgeport, and then went to Southport, getting a little closer to you. I think I saw that you were born in Rowayton, possibly.
I was, yes. I was born in Norwalk.
Norwalk.
And I spent much of my formative years in Rowayton. And then when we moved back, we were actually up in New Fairfield. And so everybody gets a geography lesson in one of the smallest states that exists.
Yeah. I love Rowayton. It's a beautiful town.
It is. Yeah, it was a cool place, especially back then. It was a fun place to grow up. All right, so you started playing around with Gig Salad as kind of a side idea, developing it starting in 2003, 2004, and then realized by 2007 that this was going to be a thing and needed full-time attention. Is that right?
That's right. It was Steve and I in the beginning, my
Yep.
co-founder, and then we hired our first full-time developer fresh out of college in UNCW. So when I moved to Missouri in 2004, Steve moved from Rhode Island to Wilmington, North Carolina in 2005. And he had his Tatro design agency, and he needed help with a developer. So he hired Locke to work for him. And then he subsequently started working for Gig Salad. And then we hired him full time. And that was right at 2007. And what Locke was able to accomplish, what we had before that was through freelance developers and pieced together, but it was enough to have something up there and to see that we were starting to get some traction. People were
proof of concept, minimum viable product, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, yep. And then once Locke got on board, it was clear. Okay, we need more people. I have no more room around my kitchen table.
Yeah,
I need to move out, and we need to get a real office. And that was, as I said, January of 2007, and it's been off to the races ever since. In 2011, I folded Steiner Talent into the common interest of Gig Salad because it was sort of close enough in business. And since 2011, it's really been, I've made my living from
Gig Salad.
Yeah.
That's outstanding, and you've done and you've helped a lot of other people make livings too, including last year 38,000 mariachi band requests.
It's unbelievable.
What's up with that?
Yeah, I'm putting this out there again. Every chance I have, we need more inventory. So mariachi band, we clearly have the #1 site for this category, and we just need more of them.
That's amazing. Where are all these booking requests coming from? We can't just gloss over this. I'm curious. Obviously, we all know about mariachi bands, but is there a certain section of the country where you're getting more or less of these? Is there something you can point to?
Anywhere and everywhere. It's small town USA to your bigger markets. It's the Midwest. It's the Plains. It's everywhere.
Is it all year round demand, or is there seasonal demand, or
there might be a spike yesterday? We're
recording this on the 6th, so yes, Cinco de Mayo. No, that's Cinco okay. No, it's all fine.
Yeah, Cinco de Mayo. But it's not limited to. It's not seasonal. It's
amazing
all year round, and God bless the mariachis and those who want them. We just need more of them. So
that's amazing. Okay, so when you find that, how do you go about getting and vetting the inventory, as you call it, the bands, the talent, and because it's not just bands that you do, you're doing all kinds of things through Gig Salad. But how do you vet the talent such that the buyers on your site know what they're getting? Is there a minimum bar of entry for talent to register and be an active concern on the site? How does that work?
It is a marketplace, and
okay.
So as a marketplace, we rely heavily on what previous buyers have to say. So the rating system is really key. We do our best to, we educate. We let our members know how important it is to have a promo kit, PK, a profile that is professional. Put quality media up there, quality photos, quality videos. It's not about quantity. Just put good stuff, and then as far as your act description and your bio and on, do well by that, because this is what you'll be judged on. Unless somebody, I know that you're probably getting hired based on word of mouth. Somebody saw you at one wedding and they book you at the next wedding, or they saw you at one bar or club and the next bar and club wanted to hire you, that sort of thing, or corporate events. But second to that, if it's not somebody saw you firsthand, or it comes highly recommended by somebody that you trust, and then it's, people find you in this way, and at that point, it's based on what others see. And so we have over the years gotten more stringent on the quality of what people put up there, and we'll work closely with those who want help.
Okay.
But we try to if something's just egregious and really bad, we'll take it off.
Sure.
But it's a marketplace, and so as a
Okay.
DIY marketplace, people are able to create a promo kit and shop their wares. And what we tell event planners is, you be the judge. You look at the quality of what you're seeing. Look at what others have said about this act, performance, or vendor that you're looking to hire on GigSalad. And like you said, it's not just entertainers or performers, but we have other event service providers. So
amazing.
photographers. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you are, let me process what you said here and kind of make sure and ask it as a clarifying question. You are offering coaching to both the buyers and sellers, if you will.
That's right.
If and when they want that, but otherwise you're also happy to be at least mostly hands off, other than perhaps just moderating what's appearing up there to a degree.
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay.
As a freemium business model,
Yeah.
similar to LinkedIn, you can have, a basic profile, and it's up to you to put a picture up there if you want to put a picture and describe yourself and your employment and on and on.
Yeah.
But you can also just have, a blank page as your photo, and that. So we are ready, willing, and able to take calls and take emails and walk people through the process. However, it is best when people, and it happens thousands of times a day, people are doing a search, Gig Salad, they find Gig Salad, hopefully at the top of that search, they put in what they're looking for and where they're located, pops the options, and then they're in direct contact. And hopefully they put in an inquiry, somebody gives a quote, they book, the event plays, it's been seamless, it's been perfect, and it's been a win-win-win across the board. But we have an amazing, what we call customer happiness.
Okay.
And we have an amazing team across the board. There's about 20 of us now. We've been as high as 35.
Congrats. Wow.
Thank you. Yeah, and at this very nimble 20 rascals of a team, everybody does what they do impeccably, and our customer happiness team is right at the top of that, with that they're kind and they are considerate and they want to help. We have a real service sort of attitude about us. We want people, we realize that in many events booked on Gig Salad are the most important life events that people will experience. It's from births of children, it's from marriages to funerals and everything that happens in between.
And everything in between, yeah.
all of life's wonderful events are happening on Gig Salad all the time, and so we take that we treat it with care. Yeah, no,
that makes sense, and the pricing model is, like you said, it's a freemium model. Who is it that decides to level up? Is it the buyers that level up, or is it the entertainers that level up and pay for an account there?
Yeah, it is. Are we consider members or the vendors or the PKs, the promo kits?
Yep.
Those who are listed on Gig Salad are the ones that have the option of going from a free to, and then there's the second revenue stream would be those who book on the platform. Free members are required to and expected to.
Yes.
The paid members are not. They've already given us something,
Got it.
However, we let both parties know that there's reasons to book on platform. There's protections, and you can monitor. And then also, we treat those reviews. We consider those are verified reviews. We know that you booked this event. It was done on GigSalad, and we can, we can verify it. They're verifiable, and so what's being said is exactly what's being said, and there's no possibility for misleading or embellishing.
Yeah, right. It's all right there. And I assume you are doing everything you can to encourage the folks who have booked an entertainer through your platform to come back and offer that review, so that you are building up that volume there.
Oh, yeah, yes. Well, once you book on platform, then the event planner has that opportunity. The vendor will invite that and request it, obviously, because more reviews is better, more higher reviews is better.
Yep.
And so, but once that's posted, it's posted, and again, in that case, if there's some discrepancy, if there's some challenge, we can help and hopefully moderate that and ask questions. But ultimately, what they say is what they say. It's like using eBay or Amazon or Airbnb or Uber or anything else. It's this was my experience, and hopefully people
take it or leave it. This is what I did this, and here's what I'm saying about it. Yep,
that's
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah,
that's right.
No, that makes that's great. That's excellent.
It works.
Yeah. Well, clearly, I mean, you're booking hundreds of thousands of acts and really making it happen. That's outstanding. I love it.
Yes.
Love it.
It's been a great run, and more to come.
Yeah. What is there? Well, you said more to come, so now I have to ask, what's next? Is there anything to talk about here, or not quite yet?
Well, I'll tease it a little bit.
Okay.
This is the first time we have some brand changes happening, and I'm
okay.
Out, and they should
say that
here.
again. You cut out a little bit there. I don't want to miss this.
Maybe it was intentional. I got ahead of myself. This is my ADHD going, alive and well.
Yep.
We're in the midst of a brand redesign.
Interesting. Great.
And it's going to be out before we know it.
Fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that for one, and then we have some on the roadmap, some things after that I think are going to make the experience even better.
Continuing to evolve the platform.
That's correct. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. Excellent. It sounds like there is no artist that is too small to at least start using GigSalad and getting their foot in the door. Other than the advice that you've already given, quality over quantity, make sure you have a good presence. Is there anything else that you might offer to an artist that is out there thinking, okay, wait a minute, I think my band might be right for this? What's a good path for someone to take to figure out if this is the right platform for their band, somebody listening to this show?
Yeah, I think first, if you found us, that speaks volumes. If somehow you came across GigSalad, and that's either you were searching the web and you stumbled across GigSalad, you put in some search term and there we were, that says something. It ultimately says all you need to know, that if it's a category that is within your model of whatever it is you do, that's first and foremost. It can't hurt to be listed on a platform like ours, because if you want to be, at least have a seat at the table or an opportunity to get for the option to at least say no, that gig's not right for me. That's, then GigSalad's a great place for you. It's a great place for people to start. It could be those who have been amateurs and are starting to think they're ready for a professional gig, then Gig Salad has a place for you. But I will tell you that we've been at this for 20 plus years, and there are a number of people that are on Gig Salad that have been with us all 20 years.
Amazing.
And so I know that there are many people that rely on Gig Salad, and they are full-time professionals, and all of their leads come through Gig Salad. They use it for everything that they book.
Yeah.
And then there's those who it's supplemental. They
Sure.
have other places that they.
So there's no exclusivity or anything. No. Okay.
No.
Yep.
It's just it's a great platform, if I do say so myself. It's just a great place to be found and or to be discovered. It's a great place to maintain whatever level of work you are hoping for.
Yep.
Whatever. And so there's a lot of people that you referenced this before, but we're really, one of the things we're really proud of is that we feel like we've provide this platform for people to do something that they love. It's, and that may be that they're professional, they're full-time professionals doing that thing, or they may be weekend warriors, but they are able to do that thing, just to keep it alive and going. So
that's great.
My recommendation is, once you're at the platform, look around, see what others are doing in that space in your area. First and foremost, like, see what the competition is, see what they're putting out there for their promo kit. But don't stop there. See what we're all over the US and Canada. And so you can view and see, and even get some ideas of how other people are presenting themselves.
That's great advice. Yeah.
And as long as you're doing that, our job is to make sure that we keep coming up in the searches, and it starts with SEO and word of mouth. That's how most people find Gig Salad. We've been very fortunate that we've never had to do paid ads. We've tried. It's very hard and very expensive, given all the categories that we have and the fact that we're in everywhere in practically, certainly US and Canada, and so. But we've never needed it. And
amazing.
So things are changing now. And as SEO tends to be dropping for platforms like ours and everybody else that's on.
And I was just going to say, it's not just platforms like yours. AI is taking the wind out of the search sales for sure.
Right. That is right. But for the time being, we're still coming up strong and strong enough. And so as long as we keep bringing you leads, it's up to you to
manage those
and hopefully close them. Yeah.
Do you, on the platform, what percentage of the presence there is, let's say for bands specifically, but this answer might be larger than that, but for bands specifically, how many, what percentage of the bands are bands representing themselves on the platform versus a band's agent choosing to put them on Gig Salad so that they to do their job effectively?
Interesting. There's no way. There's not really a way for us to verify that.
Oh, that's fair.
To qualify that.
So you don't have like an agent account where like a booking agent that books for 12 different bands, or we had the folks from East Coast Entertainment on recently.
Yeah.
And
used to work with them a lot.
Yeah, and so right there up and down the East Coast, they have lots of bands that are exclusive to them, and some obviously that aren't. So, I would think that maybe they have an account on there that they're putting their bands out with. If I were them, they should, right? Like, it would seem that would be a good. I mean, don't get me wrong; it sounds like they're doing just fine, but it would seem that would be a smart thing for a booking agent like an ECE or a smaller one even to do if that's their job. Yeah,
there are certainly agents But the way that you create a promo kit is, um, whoever formulates the promo kit, they just come in as a contact.
It's just a contact. Okay, got it.
Yeah, it's it's that person's number, it's that person's email address, and that's where the leads go to. As I said, I know that there are agents that use the platform, and
of course,
but I think the vast and there may be somebody with, as you know, there's often somebody in the band who's also wearing the hat of agent or manager, the person who handles the bookings and that sort of thing. But that I don't know. I would say the vast majority are the individuals themselves.
Yeah.
Because, of the 500 categories, half of them are music, but and many of those are ensembles or bands,
Sure.
but there's a lot of individuals, and I think in a lot of those cases, it's the person performing is also the person answering the phone or answering the lead.
That makes sense. I would think that if that were not the case, you would have had enough demand over the years for agent specific features, if you would, right? An agent
Correct.
type of account, and if you're not seeing that, then I think your answer holds a lot of water. Yep.
It's an interesting. It's kind of a dilemma. We've discussed agencies a lot over the years, and what we've tried to avoid is a single person potentially taking. They could create multiple promo kits, or at least multiple locations, especially if they're all over, and it's tiered, so there's discounts allowed there. And what ends up happening is a single agent or agency can monopolize many locations, and it can disenfranchise a lot of the other performers. And in that case, the challenge is that by allowing agencies to work, or other companies, and they use GigSalad as the platform to field leads, but then they book those off the platform, it starts to become complicated, and there's challenges with it that we are always sort of trying to finesse and nuance and get to a place where everybody can be happy.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I can see running. I saw it running a website for years. Actually, I've run another website that is completely unrelated to all that, but like where you have people's presence can grow and in ways, and you have to in ways you never thought would be possible. And so
yes,
yep.
Well, the original when it was just me, and I started putting people. The original members of Gig Salad were those that we offered a lifetime membership to. Hey, we're new at this. Give us a try, and if you'd like, here's an introductory offer, and you can be on here the rest of your life for this price, and it's a limited time. And I went through Rolodex, and I went through all my personal contacts and put that invitation out to those people. And what I was telling them, because this was all very new, there was another platform out there early on that they started in '97. So the model was not invented by us. We just feel like we've done it better. And so but what I told people, since I came from a booking background, was this platform has been invented to eliminate my job. As you've been contacting me and saying that, you think that you're reliant on an agent as me to get you work. I'm telling you, it's not that hard. What I do isn't that difficult. You can do this. And I understand the right side, left side of the brain. There's artists that just sometimes don't want to do business, or they feel like they can't do business. They don't have the capacity for it. But what our goal was is to create a platform that was so easy that anyone could use it, and that ultimately you didn't need an agent to have a career. You can do this yourself. And so that's why later on, when now all of a sudden we started to really get traction and people were starting to pay attention and agencies felt like we've disrupted the industry and it wasn't good, I said, that's just the nature of progress. It's the nature of where we're at,
That's how tech goes.
That's how tech goes. It's unavoidable.
Buckle up, baby.
That's right. So get on board and figure out how to make it work for you.
Yep.
And
that's how it is. Yeah, man.
That's how it is.
Yeah. Thank you. This has been great and really insightful. I learned a lot. I hope I know everybody else listening did. So thank you for taking your time with us. This has been absolutely fantastic.
Dave, thank you for the opportunity and good on you. Keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are 3 words that we like to say to our audience. And if you would do the honors, I would be honored. So take it away, my friend Mark.
Always be performing.
Amazing. And they can find you at GigSalad.com.
GigSalad.com.
Amazing. Thanks. This has really been a blast.
Dave.
Yeah,
been
for sure.
Thank you again.
Yeah, anytime, man. Yeah, stay in touch. Keep us posted as things evolve, and we'll be sure to keep everybody posted on that.
Yeah, I hope it was interesting enough. I do.
Absolutely. Thanks, folks. We'll see you next week.
See you, Dave. Bye, Emily.